I thought I would show my base that I've been developing in Colony Survival. I'm not sure if you guys have played this game or not, but it's a lot of fun. It's sort of a spin-off of Minecraft. I guess that's the best way to say it. The only difference is you get to hire colonists, and they'll do all the work for you. So that's sort of what's really interesting about this. They do all the micromanagement, which can be a real big pain in sandbox type of games, survivalist games especially. So yeah, this is a really cool game. I just started playing it about a week ago, and I got really into it. And you can see my colonists are coming out to start working. And I sort of built that barracks over there. It's a 3-level system right now. It's got 3 levels. And I hit the 100 colonist mark. You can see that in the top left, just hit that. So all these guys go about doing their job. Mainly it's an agricultural community. That's the way the game's sort of set up. And they come out, they do what they're supposed to do during the daytime. During the nighttime, they go back to sleep, but you have nighttime guards to sort of... you can see I have a lot of berry farms here, by the way. A ton of berry farms. Those are nice because they offer an easy way to get food fast to your colonists. So you can see here this table sort of disperses all the food. And one thing this has been a big trial and error. My first base that I developed, I didn't estimate the calories very well at all, and so my colonists actually starved. That was not good. But what I've done is now I've got this routine where if I add 2 non-farmers, I always add at least 1 farmer. So I found that 1 farmer can support 2 more colonists, and the total calories that you can see on the top right will keep going up, and you can see that number keeps going up. I think it's at 3.9. That K actually means million. So I've got 3.918 million right now. So that's a lot of calories. If you're familiar with the game, you'll realize that's quite a few calories. So and the other problem I had was with the zombies, and I'll talk about that in a minute. So yeah, I'll show you a little tour of the joint. So this is the barracks, and you can see some of the nighttime guards are sleeping right there. And then I've had to add a second level, and this works really well doing this multi-level establishment here, joint as I called it, because I want to keep as much space as I can for the agriculture. Like I said, the calories is really sort of the key thing here, is to keep the calories coming in. You have to monitor that much closer than I originally was. And like I said, my first few bases starved because I wasn't paying very close attention to it. But now I am, so everything's going pretty good. Actually, this has been really the farthest I've gotten. I think this is the first time I hit 100 colonists. I see there's actually an achievement to hit 1,000 colonists, so I probably have to start another colony at some point. The other mistake I made was I didn't build, so I didn't realize this, but I did in the second game, that the zombies won't start spawning until you lay down your first colony. So that gives you the ability really to build your entire structure. So this outer wall you can see here, I built that before I even put down my first colonist, because initially what I was trying to do was I'd build my base and kind of build the wall at the same time, but the problem is you'd get a lot of leakage, a lot of zombies. I mean, they come from all directions. So they were getting in and killing my colonists, and if they die, you take a huge hit initially on your calorie count, which early on is really important, that calorie count. So it's imperative that none of them die. If they die now, well, not as big of a deal. I can just, I have so many calories now, I can rehire people pretty quickly. So, but it's still a big deal. I don't want them to die, but you still have to keep an eye on it. But the good news is now I've got a pretty good system where I've only had a few leakage incidents. For the most part, I've been able to keep them out by making the wall. That was the first thing I constructed, was this sort of outer wall, and this contains my entire base. So everything's sort of self-contained. It's a self-contained community, which is really sort of the goal of this game. So the other issue I had was with the mine. Now, initially I was putting the mine outside the base because I was worried about zombies spawning down there, and they do. But what I did was I decided to put it inside the base, because what would happen was my miners would get killed in transit when they came back to sleep at night or get supplies. So Now what I did was I put it inside the base, and what happens is at night, if you don't really get a lot of zombies coming out of here, but when they do come out of here, they're immediately going to try to go for your barracks. That's the first place they're going to go. So they have to come all the way here, and by the time they get here, these guards here that guard the barracks usually pick them off, and they can actually pick them off through those windows. So I've got that that's pretty fine-tuned right now. So that's what they have to do. They have to work their way all the way around here, and the first thing they're going to try to do is get into the entrance. So the entrance, I try to put it as far away from the mine as possible, so they at least have to walk to get to it. And that's worked out pretty well so far. And then the other thing was I also had a problem with the water. The guy who gets the water, he's very important. You got to have water coming into your community. So I built the wall around this portion of the water, just left a little bit here, but now this is completely self-contained too. So the water guy there, you can see there, he's coming. He can come down here, get water, and not get attacked. The main part is at the end of when the day's starting out. You still have some zombies that are coming in, straggling it in. So those are the ones that are actually the most dangerous. The ones that are right sort of at dawn, the ones that spawn right at dawn. You have to sort of watch that. And that's what was getting me. The ones that would spawn at dawn would usually get my workers. So I've had to put some daytime guards. These are the daytime guards right here, up just in case any stragglers come in. And then, there's a shift change right at dusk. And these guys, the nighttime guards, then will sort of wake up and go ahead and do their duty. And again, in terms of the calories, yeah, I've pretty much got a lot of calories now. I'm building. The main thing is fish, berries, bread. They consume that quite a lot, but I've got enough other staples like cooked fish and luxury meals that if the bread drops down, that's okay. Before I was just relying on bread, but you really do have to cook as many different, keep a variety going, just in case if you run out of one stock, you've got another stock in place. And the other mistake I actually made, and I've learned, is to have these tables all around. You want it so that your workers don't have to go too far to get their food. You can see they keep coming up here to get food. That's really a big thing as well. And so I think I've got pretty much every food type here. I'm here. These guys are. This is the beekeeper. He's collecting honey. And then I've got a wheat field. I think I got a flax field right here. There's an herbalist. So I've got pretty much every type covered. You got to have a forester, which is over here. He cuts down. He'll plant the trees. That's the nice thing because you need firewood. You need a lot of that. So he'll plant the trees and cut them down. So you can see there's the shift change that's going on. So some of the daytime guys are going to sleep for the night, and then they come out in the day. Now the nice thing I had to set up this system in place because what I initially had was just kind of like a main gate here, but what would happen was the zombies would literally gate crash it if there's such a term, and then they would bust into my barracks. So I'd have several guards here, but you would just get overwhelmed. So I developed this system where they sort of come in this main entrance here. This is the only place they can enter in the entire base. So they come down here, then they have to work around over here, weave their way around here, and by the time they get to the front entrance, my guards will have had an opportunity to hit them multiple times. I mean, several times. So that's worked out pretty well. And the only time really I have an issue is sometimes so as you play the game longer and longer, zombies get a little bit more difficult. They throw more difficult zombies at you. And a couple times you'll get a time where a few stragglers will make it here to the entrance, but the guards that are guarding the barracks will usually pick them off. So far during this, at least this, for this base, I haven't had a lot of leakage issues, which has been nice. And then what I did was, so those are the bowmen, and then I stuck this crossbowman up here, and he does quite a bit of damage. So his job is just sort of weaken them down or pick them off. See, he just picked off one of the more difficult zombies. He one-shotted them. And so he's sort of up here to sort of wear them down before they get to the main units. But yeah, most of the time, this system's worked out pretty well. Like I said, they have to sort of weave all the way around here, and by the time they get to usually they don't get this far. Now, what I also found was they would sometimes cling to this wall. What would happen was the guards would lose sight of them, so I put these sort of dirt barriers here, so they kind of stay in the middle of the path here when they're walking, and the guards will have a line of sight on them, which is really important. So I actually had to learn that the hard way too. I had a couple zombie rushes, which I just barely survived, but fortunately the guards at the barracks helped me sort of pick them off. But yeah, this is the base, and I'm hoping right now, I think I've got most of the stuff researched. I think there's a few, yeah, so I got about 20, 24 items left, something, and these are all the ones I've researched. So my goal is to get everything researched eventually. I think I can complete that one. Okay, builder, and so just completed him. That's cool. Trying to get this this matchlock gun. That'll be really nice. I'm sure those guys will do a lot of damage. So I'll put a few of those guards up here, and then they won't be getting in anytime soon. So this is the base. This is my setup so far, and I'll, when I expand out a little bit farther, I'll do another video. So thanks for watching.